Hey gang, welcome back. Hey, yesterday I had a little time to work on the old 77 Lincoln and I got a little bit of stuff done on it, and we're getting pretty close to the point where we're going to do the old Will It Run. So let me show you what I got going so far. See, I got piles of loose wiring, but I think I got all the wiring on this side of the vehicle fixed, repaired, whatever. Had to clean up some connections and things here on the solenoid. I had this old used battery, which I've just got sitting in there for now. It's old, but it's still got a charge. So I got all the wiring done over here, except for some of this stuff coming out of the firewall. It's repaired, but some of this stuff coming up here, I don't think it's going to be necessary to make the car run. I think some of this goes up to the windshield wiper motor. I still got some wiring over here to the cruise control that I got to fix, but none of that will prevent it from running. So I think I've got all the wiring repaired that I need to make this car run. So that's where we're going to start. So first thing we're going to do is hook up the battery. I just hooked it up for about 10 seconds yesterday to see if anything smoked, because as you guys know, a bunch of wires were chewed up on this thing, and we want to make sure we're not going to let the smoke out of the wires, because it's a heck of a lot easier to let the smoke out than it is to put it back in. So any old car been sitting for a while, I'm going to set this on there loose, make sure it's making connection, but leave it where I can get it off quick if needed. And I'm just going to kind of observe and see if I get any smoke, any electronic components firing up that shouldn't. My gut tells me we'll probably have some additional wiring to do. Let's look inside the car and make sure nothing's smoking or making any weird noises in here. Everything appears to be okay. Oh, would you look at that? We got a dome light. So there's a start. All right. Let's see if we got any power. Oh, we got a buzzer back. That's good. I'm just going to leave the key on, check lights. Says low fuel. Gas gauge reads empty. I'd be shocked if the wiring back there is not demolished. Let's see. Got some stuff on the dash, door ajar. That would make sense. The door is open. Overnight light. We're in park. Let's see if we got start. Nothing. Okay. To be expected. Let's do a little diagnosis here. Alright, I got my power probe hooked up here. For those of you that aren't familiar with a power probe, this is about the most handy electrical diagnostic tool money can buy, so I highly suggest you pick one up. On a Ford, the starter solenoid is not attached to the starter, which is kind of nice for diagnostic purposes. But this is the starter solenoid, so we have power coming off the battery here into the solenoid. As you can see, 12.5 volts, that's pretty good. And what happens is it gets a signal right here from the ignition, and when it does, it engages this solenoid and it sends power through this side, which is currently ground, and it'll send power down to the starter. So I think our next step, I want to see if we're getting a signal from the ignition. So we're going to unplug this. We're going to just put it on our power probe. You can see it's on ground. And we're going to go crank and see if we're sending power up here to the solenoid. Now you can faintly see the green light there, means ground. I'm going to go to crank. And you can see the red light lights up when I go to crank. That's good. That means we're sending power up to the solenoid. Our next step, we're going to hook this back up. And we're going to go ahead and make contact here. And this is going to tell us, is our solenoid sending power through or not? If it is, then we have a starter or a wiring problem from there down to the starter. If If it's not, then we probably have a solenoid problem. So I'm not sure if you guys could hear it or not. The sound did not change, meaning that we are not passing power through the solenoid, which is kind of good because they're cheaper than a starter and not that hard to replace. And we're in luck because from where I live, a solenoid's probably not that far away. Before we go and put a solenoid on this, let's test the starter. I'm going to show you a little trick you can do on these old external solenoids. Alright, what I did is I ran in the garage, grabbed myself a pair of needle nose pliers. Anything conductive will work, and what I'm going to do is just jump this post to this post, and we're going to see if the starter works. Oh boy. Okay, this is good. This is good. The engine rolls over. Now I don't want to roll the engine over too much. For one, I don't have the fan on, so the belts are just sort of sitting there, and I don't want them to come flying off. Two, and probably more importantly, if there's any old nasty gas in that gas tank, which I'm expecting there to be, I don't want the fuel pump to pick it up and run it all through the carburetor, because then we're going to have another problem to deal with. So we're going to break this down into steps. Step one is I want to get this thing to crank over. Then what I'm going to do is once it's consistently cranking, I'm going to unhook the fuel. I'm going to run it into a drain pan of sort so that any old nasty gas that's in the tank doesn't get ran through the carburetor. Then what we're going to do is work on ignition. I'm assuming we're going to have some ignition problems because these cars are kind of common for it with this weird DuraSpark ignition system. But once we get the spark figured out, then we'll move on to fuel. With those things in place, it should run. We'll find out. All right, through the magic of television, we got our new solenoid installed. I took a little extra time to make sure all the connections were cleaned up and all that good stuff. We're gonna go ahead and hook up the ground slowly, carefully, make sure again we don't have any weird issues. Let's go see if it cranks from the key now. Again, I won't crank it long because that pulley is getting ready to fall right off. I don't want that to happen. It's funny how you do all kinds of electrical repair on a car and the first thing that comes back is the annoying buzzer. Okay. She's cranking by the key. Step one complete. I think what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and put the fan back on securely so that my pulleys and belts don't come flying off while we're doing the rest of our checks. But we're gonna put the fan on, and then we're gonna check for a spark. All right, the old Lincoln's cranking. Join me again for part 2 when we determine whether or not this old girl's gonna run or not. Thanks for watching.